it is very dangerous, especially as a minister, because no matter how critical people will be, but there is a perception that says every time when we come to hear or when we come to church, we come to listen to God. So the hearts of people become widely open. That is why when a person is operating under the anointing, is a because the assumption is the man is standing in the place of who? Of God. I normally talk of the many people, Oguti, as one of the ministers, you are like a waiter, whereby when people come, I have to feed you what the chef has told me to feed you. That is why sometimes it may not be enticing, but I need to be faithful to the one who has given me the menu for the day, because he knows what food must be eaten at that particular time. Amen. So the danger is when I have come with what I think is best for you, but which is not exactly that which you need. The danger number 2 is to often give people sweets, because normally everyone is excited with sweets. And because if you have kids and every time they see you, you have sweets to give them, they will keep on following you, because there's something that you are giving them which is enticing to the taste of their tongue, but not beneficial for their health. That is why when the time has come for them to eat meat, they can't eat meat, because amazinga pelile, because they've been eating sweets. Now, I want to talk about this on a very short, by 10 to 2, so this is 30. The order of priorities. Amen. The order of priorities. Can we turn our Bibles in the book of Luke chapter number 10 verse 38. Amen. Are you happy with that? Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Are people happy in the house? Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Bless the Lord. Matthew chapter number 10 verse 38. This is what the Bible says. Now this is the story of Martha and Mary, right? Martha and Mary, when Jesus is coming to, when Jesus entered Martha's house, right? So normally when we read this text, we normally focus on who? On Mary. But today I just want us to study this other woman, Martha. Amen. Amen. Now look at what the Bible says. Now, as they came on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him. Now that's very important to check who is welcoming Jesus into the house. Okay? A woman named Martha welcomed him into her house, not into their house. Okay? Into her house, meaning the house that Jesus entered in belonged to who? To Mary. To Martha. Okay? Now, but look at who is sitting in Jesus' feet. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha, now, very important. But Martha was distracted with much serving. It's important to know what was distracting Martha. It was not something of the world. Neither was it evil. As a matter of fact, it was one, because serving is one of the gifts in the body of Christ. But the Bible says she was distracted. Are we studying the word? Okay. But she was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Okay? But one thing is necessary. Now this is very important. One thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. Amen. Now, the order of priority. One of the things we see from this text is that the Bible says when Jesus entered into the village, Martha welcomed Jesus into her house, which gives us an idea that she was excited that Jesus entered into the house. But the problem is that she missed the purpose of Jesus coming into the house. And she frustrated the order of priority. And Jesus had a problem with them. Because when we study the text, we begin to see that Jesus' problem was not the activity, but the problem was the timing of the activity and the order of the priority at that point in time. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to submit to you. When purpose is not discovered, priorities are set wrong. And when priorities are set wrong, the product or the activity is compromised. And we begin to miss the core essence of what God is doing in the season, because we are excited about what we see and miss the whole purpose of what is going on with what we see. She was excited that Jesus was in the house, but she missed the whole purpose of Jesus coming into the house. And the Bible says when Jesus got into the house, she left Jesus and she wanted to pay attention to what she can offer to Jesus, while Jesus' concern was what he must offer to her first. Isn't it so shocking that we all want to be busy with God's work, and we all want to start with what we can do for God, while we haven't received the signals that comes from him? Can you just imagine a body? A body, the Bible said we are the body of Christ, okay? In the Bible, we are the body of Christ. Can you imagine a foot or a limb that cannot receive instructions from the head? It begins to malfunction, and every part that malfunctions in the body, it becomes a burden to the body, because it doesn't know when to move and when to stop. Because when Jesus entered the house, I didn't get the instruction first from him before I did the activity. And that thing, it made Jesus to have a problem with him. Now look at this, something wonderful happens here. The Bible says, when Mary sat on Jesus' feet and she listened to what Jesus was saying. Okay? And then Martha is busy with serving. I'm repeating this again. She is not distracted by something bad. She is distracted by what is good. And as she is busy serving, whatever that she was doing was not enough. Because every time when priorities are missed, whatever task that you do, it doesn't suffice. You feel like nobody is supporting you. You feel like the support and the resources that you have are not enough. God, the problem is the order of priority. And the Bible says, look at this, in verse number 40. The Bible, number 1, it states to us that she was distracted. And Jesus, in verse number 41, she is pointing to us. The problem with you is that you are distracted. Number 1, you are being distracted with many things. You are anxious about a lot of things. Because she started with what she supposed to do for the Lord, while the Lord wanted to give her instruction first and teach her. Jesus' expectation was that when he got into the house, they had to stop everything that they are doing and get an instruction from him. Because that is why it is important that there is a time whereby we need to stop and ask ourselves, what are we doing? Are we still doing what God is saying, or are we doing what God said for the last time and for the task that has passed? That is why the Bible says, as we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Now, the Bible cannot say keep in step with the Spirit if there is no possibility that you cannot keep in step with the Spirit. Meaning, let us be updated with what God is saying at the season and at the time, so that we can do exactly that which God is saying. One of the things that you will see about Jesus' life is that he only lived for 3 years. And what he did for 3 years, no man has ever done in their 40 years of life or ministry. And if you study Jesus' life, you will see he had his priorities right. He knew what to do, when, and how. Why? Only that which the Father does, it is what I do. So meaning I am updated with what God is doing at this time, in this season. That is why when Israel was walking with God, the Bible said there was a pillar of cloud in the day and a pillar of fire in the night. So when the pillar of cloud was moving, Israel had to move with the pillar of cloud. Because if the pillar is moving and Israel is not moving, they're going to be scorched by the sun rays of the sun, by the rays of the sun. So it was to keep updated with what God is doing and with how the cloud is moving at that point in time. Now, Jesus is giving, or the text that we have read is giving us an illustration or an example that it is not only the bad things that can distract you, but it is all the good things that are done in a disorder and a frustration of priority. Then it becomes a problem. Okay? Now, then Jesus, when she comes to Jesus, she comes with a problem. Whatever that I'm doing, it doesn't suffice. It's not enough. And she comes to Jesus to say, don't you care? Can you please tell my sister to come and help me? Because every time we frustrate the order of priorities, you will think that you are not succeeding because you don't have enough help from other people. But the problem is not the activity, neither the resources, but the problem are frustrated the order of priorities. There was a guy in closing, Moses. You remember when you study the book of Exodus number 18, the Bible says he sent his children to his father-in-law Jethro. And when he sent his children to his father-in-law Jethro, then they met up with Jethro and they began to speak. And Moses relayed to him what the Lord has done, how the Lord delivered them from the Egyptians, and they relayed everything. And from there, Jethro began to ask Moses, what are you doing? And Moses says, I sit in every day judging Israel. Is he doing the wrong thing? No. Still right thing. Because he was giving counsel to Israel. What I sit every day to judge Israel. So every man and every person who have problems, they come to me so that I can give them God's decrees and God's laws and be able to give them direction as to say what they have to do with the matter. And Jethro said to Moses, no, that which you are doing, it is not good. Because you will be frustrated with things that don't belong to your care. And Jethro said to him, choose men who are feared by the Spirit of the Lord, men who fears God, men who don't do evil. Choose those men and and let them do the task so that you can stand before God and man. Okay? So that which you are doing, in its essence, it's good. But in priority, it's wrong. Because that is not where you belong at the time. He says, choose men who are filled by the Spirit of the Lord, who are filled with wisdom, men who are mature. Choose those people. Let them take care of those activities. And let them only bring the hard matters to you so that you can be able to judge those things that are hard. But you need to know your place. Because when Moses is busy with things that don't belong to him, when he has to deliver what he's supposed to deliver, he can't deliver because in the first place, he was not in his position. He began to master in the minor and be preoccupied with the unimportant things that do not suffice. Why? Because he frustrated the priority. And Jacob said, choose men who are going to do these things so that you can have time to stay with God. Because the same people who will want to come to you with every problem, they will come to you expecting a word from God. Whilst you do not have because you have frustrated the priority in the first place. Now, then the Bible said, and they chose men. And those people began to do the task. And Moses began to do it. Isn't it so amazing that in most cases we begin to do things that God never prescribed? God never told me to do it. But I've been doing it because it is a tradition that has been kept on. When Moses began to do that, he began to have enough time to return to the place whereby God has called him to, or whereby God has called him. There's a text in the Bible, in the same chapter, that which we looked, Jesus says, when he's sending his disciples to go and preach, look at what he says. Because Jesus understood. He understood the order of priority. Look at what he says. 14. Go, I'm sending you, right, to go preach. But that's from chapter number 10, verse 2. He begins to say, the harvest is what? Is plentiful, right? But the workers, they are few. Okay? That's what Jesus says. He says, the harvest is... The harvest is plentiful. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Meaning there is a lack, right? There is a lack. But what Jesus says? What did you just get? But you, what must you do? You must pray to the Lord of the... He didn't say go and fill up the gaps. He didn't say. He didn't say leave what you're doing and work harder than what you're doing to try to reach the whole harvest. But he says what you have to do, he says, pray to the Lord of the harvest that he may send workers to his harvest. Now, he keeps on emphasizing to who does the harvest belong to. So who knows the harvest better? It is God. That is why it says, pray to the Lord of the harvest that he may send workers to go. It seems like the Lord of the harvest knows that he must send workers. But Jesus is very careful to say, as you see the leg, do that which I am sending you to do, and the rest where you cannot reach, pray to the Lord of the harvest that he may be able to send workers and go away. But you know what we do? Do you know what we do? We invent ways and new systems that we can use to preach the second. shape. It was designed for a particular purpose. If I frustrate this hand, and expect it to do the functions of the feet, it will malfunction. Because even its design, it wasn't designed to do the work of a feet. That's number one that you need to understand about the order of priorities. Number two, the hand its function only depends on the signals that comes from the brain. Okay, it only depends on the signals that comes from the brain. But now, what happens when the head decides to work autonomously? The same hand that is supposed to work in conjunction with the body, it begins to seem like it is working against the body. Because every time when the body says, let us pick up something, the hand is thinking of something else. That is good, but that frustrates the priority that is set from the head. Secondly, the way at which it works is this. Look at this, Mazala. When Jesus was on earth, he defined his priorities right. Okay? He defined his priorities right. But he understood something. Unless I go, the Father or the Holy Spirit will not come. Meaning, he will not come to fulfill or complete that which I started. One of the things that makes us to frustrate the order of priority, ye land of wanting to be everywhere at the same time. And sometimes what you need to do is to just to ensure that the whole body is working. And know exactly that which is expected of me and do it very well and do it in conjunction with the signals that I receive from the head. Thirdly, if you look at the body, if I will, now this is very important to understand as well. His understanding is very important. The point that I'm making here, Ogoti, the priority of the hand is to maybe touch, hold things, and feel things. But however the hand understands, Ogoti, in order for me to complete the tasks that is expected of me, I need some other parts of the body, though they are not directly involved in the task that I'm doing. Look, just do what you normally do if somebody can press you up, okay? Okay? What do we do? If I can press you up. He's saying, ish. Why is he saying ish? In the mouth. Did I press the mouth? No. This is how the kingdom works. I did not frustrate the mouth, but I frustrated. I frustrated the what? The feet. And immediately the feet get sore. It sends a message. One, before it sends a message, it sends a message to the brain. Oh, come on, there is something that is not going right with one of us. Because as he is frustrated, there are things that we can no longer do holistically. When I step you and it says H, the message went so fast to the brain. And what the brain did, look at this. What the brain did, it sends signals back to the body, but to important parts of the body that are able to send external signals, so that as he is saying H, somebody can come and rescue him. Because one of my part is being frustrated. So I cannot continue to work holistically if one of us is damaged. If I can press you hard, the message will only go to the lips, but the brain will send signals to the eyes. Then the eyes will begin to release tears. It depends with how severe the frustration is. Now, the importance of that, the body understands. When one of us is frustrated, okay, let's come. Oh, I have 5 minutes, okay. If one of us, because there are these things that frustrate or that causes us to frustrate the order of priorities. Number one, it might be things that are external. Okay, so the body understands. If one is being frustrated, he will not carry his function. And as a result, the eye can see where the body must go. But because the feet is being frustrated, it cannot take the body where the eye has seen. The body, the ear has heard of a place that the church has to be in the next 5 years. But when one of us is being frustrated, then we cannot get to the place where we have to get or where we have to be. Because my function as an ear is to hear and transmit the message to the head. This is what I've heard. And the head transmits signals to the limbs. This is what has been said. So let us take the body to the place where the eye have seen. But now, when any one of us frustrate the order and confuse the order and its purpose and the priorities, then the body, it takes long for us to get where we're supposed to be. Because there are people in the body who are malfunctioning because either they've got their priorities wrong intentionally, or they got their priorities wrong because there have been an external effect. And I say this because question. When one of us is being frustrated, who be corner, who rejoice in the body. There are two possible reasons. It's either because if their eyes cannot cry, it's either they are being detached from the body, or you see when a person has become paralyzed. But if my limbs have become paralyzed, meaning there are no signals and blood veins and everything that goes to this part of the body. What makes us not to cry for people who are frustrated the priority of the kingdom and not even pray for them, it's when we ourselves are no longer receiving any signals. Because any part of the body that I frustrate, even the other parts become frustrated as well. But there's one of us who is not right. There's one of us who has frustrated the priorities. He has even frustrated the priorities of the weak. So I can't sit back and laugh at him, because if I laugh at him, it means I'm not part of the body. Because being part of the body means the pain that the feet feels, the eye is also feeling. Because I cannot get to where I am going if I cannot have you with me. So any frustration that happens, it affects the whole body as members.